Off to get TMS, baby. Here we go. Got it a nice kind of place to stay, but this heater fucking blows. Not literally, it's not blowing anything. So we got this bad boy set up. Look at him go. Now it's toasty in here. Well, it's the morning of the fMRI and I had a migraine, so I have to ask them and find out if I can even do the fMRI or if I need to reschedule. Just completed my fMRI. The lady literally had to scan her eyeballs to get me into the room. It was a crazy facility. I felt like it was Edna mode to get me in there. It was like a standard MRI, kind of, a little bit more claustrophobic. There was like a mirror that I looked at that would show a screen for active fMRIs, but I was doing a steady state or whatever fMRI where they don't show any stimulus or stimuli or have you complete any tasks, so that they have basically your most baseline functioning of your brain without introducing any variables. So I was staring at a blank TV screen the entire time. It was about an hour long. Anyway, got that out of the way, and hopefully in 2 days from now we will have our presentation on how fucked up my brain is and start zip-zapping away at my problems. Check out my balcony. Really something, huh? I'm scared to stand on it. Goddamn, I have the worst time sleeping. Constantly. I suddenly became incredibly nervous that the fMRI is not going to show anything, especially with my visual symptoms. Oh God, please. Today's the big day. They do the presentation of the fMRI and I start my first TMS session. I feel like a lump and laying in bed all day, but it's later this afternoon, so I'll catch you after that. Okay, so I know I'm still in bed. All right, it looks like I'm lazy. I actually went outside. I walked to Target. I shaved. Look at that. My fMRI presentation got postponed because they were doing expedited processing, they do like computational algorithmic, whatever. They compare the fMRI to a bunch of thousands of healthy fMRIs to find where there's dysfunction. And they do a presentation for me on that, which is basically for my benefit only. And so since the processing is going to be done a little bit later today, they're not going to have the presentation ready. So they're going to do that. Today's like Thursday. They're going to do that Sunday or Monday, but I'll still start treatment today because the fMRI processing will be done today. They just don't have the presentation ready. But today should be the day that I start. Hooray! So first session done, you can see they have there's a band on my head. There's a, I don't know what you want to call it, a photoreceptor or whatever, and there's a big scanner thing up top, and it basically tracks where my head is. So they overlay the magnetic coil in my head, and you can see on the screen in real time my fMRI. They find the target and they introduce the pulses to that target. It's actually quite painful, but they say you build the tolerance over time. So first session done. I was going to do it yesterday, but things got kind of late and they didn't want it to keep me up. So yesterday was all about finding the targets and making sure that the coils would be aligned properly, so that today we would be ready to go. So yeah, first session done. It's kind of back-to-back session, and then I'll have one more later today. That's kind of how it'll work from here on out. I'll have one long session, a break, hour break, and then one short session. The ones towards my eyeballs are very painful. It makes my whole face twitch and my eyes water. But I've been through worse. I've had like 8 or 9 lumbar punctures, so ain't nothing but a thing. finished my second day of TMS. Had a very bizarre experience. So we're ramping up the frequency quite quickly because I have a high pain tolerance. It's actually very painful in some areas, but I want to get to the therapeutic frequency as quickly as possible, so I just put up with it. And so the guy said the doctor's going to be very pleased when she sees tomorrow that we're at the frequency we're at, because a lot of people are sissies. Anyway, had a really bizarre experience. He targeted right here, which from what I can look up is the dorsolateral, prefrontal dorsolateral, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, I believe, which is involved in emotional regulation and processing, etc. And when he hit that spot, I felt immediate intense depression, suicidal ideation, and trauma. It was almost like I was back in my parents' basement having encephalitis again. It felt like that. I had a wave of trauma. And it was really intense. It actually shook me. I almost had a panic attack when I came back to my apartment. It wasn't, sorry, I'm drooling. It wasn't me panicking more than my brain going into the defense mode, like I was dissociating. It unveiled all my trauma to me all at once and then resealed it. It was a really shocking and jarring experience. And so I was really shook by it. I walked out of the clinic and then I was like, I gotta ask. So I went back in, I asked the tech about it, and he said, don't worry about it, it's pretty normal. Just tell the doc about it tomorrow. So I'm gonna tell the doc about it tomorrow. I'm not gonna pressure her to change protocol. I just want to know that's part of the normal process. But very bizarre, very intense experience to have all your trauma opened up all at once. But to me, that kind of tells me that it's working on the right networks. But to have all my trauma opened up like a box in my face for a solid 3 minutes was a bizarre and very intense experience. Totally unexpected. Aside from that, it's passed. I feel much better, but it shook me pretty good for a bit there. So I'll ask the doctor about it tomorrow, but day 2 done, and we'll keep pushing on. I'm actually crying. I fell back asleep when I woke up, and I thought I was 20 living with my brother-in-law and my sister and my brother in a house we used to live in my hometown. And I completely embodied that self of innocence and normalcy for 5 seconds. And I keep having these one-off weird experiences. It made me cry for whatever reason. Well, let's be honest, I know why it made me cry. It's because I felt for a brief moment that I had complete innocence and I reverted to a mental state that was a healthier one, an innocent one, before all the trauma I've experienced. That's why it made me cry. That's pretty obvious why it made me cry. It's actually a beautiful moment. A brief but beautiful moment. Day number 3 done. So the doctor said that my reaction yesterday, where it felt like I was looking into a nuclear reactor that was blown open of my trauma, was probably a good sign that we're hitting the right circuits. So no weird reaction today when they hit that same spot. So all good. Pretty uneventful day except for this morning when I had that kind of interesting experience. Tomorrow is my presentation on the fMRI findings, so I'll actually get a real in-depth detail description about what they found and what they are targeting. So I'll be interested in that, and I'll be excited to share what they say with you guys. But for now, that's the end of day 3. Check you tomorrow. Presentation was today. I'm a little tired and depressed to talk about it, and my cognition is down today. I was losing focus and stuff. You'd obviously see how messed up my brain was. A lot of portions were 30% or more functionally different than the average of 1,000 healthy fMRIs from healthy individuals. So a lot of shades of blue and green when it's supposed to be mostly red. I'm not going to get into the details about it, but I asked questions about outcomes. But the most promising thing was I was struggling to remember what I was saying and get a thought out. And she said before that she's actually working on 2 areas, maybe 3, that help with that even before I was slipping up. So she knew that was a problem even before I brought it up. But I said, I'm half the man I used to be. And she smiled and she said, we'll get you there, or something along those lines. And the fact that it was a genuine response, she smiled. It showed that she was recalling all past patient data and knew that they had positive outcomes, and that she knew that my future is brighter than I think it is. So that was actually more reassuring than hearing, over the majority of patients have life-changing outcomes. She said that. She didn't shove a bunch of fluff, which I appreciated. She didn't say I'm gonna get 100% better, any of that. That would make me suspicious. So I feel kind of neutral about things right now. But that smile on her saying, we'll get you there, or we'll get you something along those lines, something close to that, was probably the most reassuring thing about the whole presentation. And I'll get a summary of the presentation down the road. And we'll also get another fMRI at the end of my treatment course to compare what's improved. So it'll show my first fMRI, my new fMRI to see what's improved, and then a healthy fMRI, so we can see any areas that might need touching up in the future, or just see how much I've improved overall. And then I'll have a Zoom call 2 weeks after my last session to talk about that, and also just see how I'm doing. They want to track that, because they do track patient outcomes internally. So she wasn't just pulling stuff out of her butt. But it was very legitimate, and it was nice to see objectively on the fMRI that there were things that were very functionally wrong. I mean, there were large swaths of my brain that were functionally very impaired. When one circuit was activated, a bunch of other circuits would be underperforming, and other circuits would be hyperactivated to compensate. And anyway, I'm too tired and whatever to go into detail, but all that matters was that my brain was very evidently fucky wucky, and that smile and words of affirmation and whatever meant more than probably anything that I asked about outcomes at the end of the presentation. So I'll leave it at that. So day 4, almost in the books. I have my last little session here, and then I'm just going to take it easy for the rest of the day. This is too long because the video is already too long. Goodbye, I love you. This is just filler so I can remind myself to insert a clip about how I had that sobbing episode. And if I forget to enter that clip, I had a crazy sobbing episode that I've never had before in my entire life, and it was absolutely fucking bonkers. But it was like a grieving why God sob, and also turned into laughter, which was weird. It started when I guess I'm making the video now. I was showing the technician a video of mine. I said, look, this is me before I got all fucked up. And then I started tearing up. I said, I'm sorry, I'm really weirdly emotional today. And he said something nice. And then I walked out. And I sat on the curb and I started crying. I got up, I cried all the way back to my apartment. I had to stop on the bench and cry some more. I went up the elevator, went to my apartment, and just started sobbing hysterically. I was on my knees, like drooling, sobbing. The grieving, why God, just processing kind of cry that I'm not a crier. I'm usually not a crier. I've never in my life cried like this before. And when it was over, I got up, I wiped my tears away, and I was like, that was weird. That was fucking weird, but felt kind of good. So there's stuff happening in my brain. And on the walk home, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. These guys can see me cry. I don't give a shit. And usually I have some sort of like hesitation or like self-analytical thinking when I'm crying or having an emotional response. Like if I'm angry, I'll be like, you don't have a reason to cry, or you're being over angry for no reason. So I never commit to an emotion. I was fully committed to this emotion. It was very intense and therapeutic in some way. And my anxiety is very low this evening, which is new and probably transient, but things will start to stick as time goes on. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But it was a very intense emotional experience. A lot of weird one-off things happening. It's doing something. Also had my fMRI today, was shown, and it was messed up. We'll leave it at that. That's all you really gotta know. It was very messed up. So I think today is number 5. I had a really interesting conversation with the doctor, and he said, you know, basically what we're doing here is we're grabbing you as you're falling off a cliff. We're pulling you up so you get your hands on the ledge, and then it's up to you to pull yourself up. And by that, he means you need to stop doing things that feel comfortable and start doing things that feel uncomfortable. Stop doing nothing, engage your brain, learn new things, read books. You should be reading a book a week. You should go out and meet new people. You should never go a month without talking to a girl. You should be going to campus and attending seminars and doing physical activities like swimming and stuff like that to keep those neural circuits that are become more malleable during treatment, solidify them into more a healthy pattern. Otherwise, I'll start regressing. He's basically saying people who don't follow those instructions, they end up coming back. People who follow those instructions to a T, they never see them again. Also, I'll be switching from my current nurse practitioner to their psychiatrist, who both doctors in separate rooms said is really good, which is a relief to me because my nurse practitioner wants to let me off clonazepam as fast as possible and has no reference to what's going on over here, while this psychiatrist is part of their team and will know what's going on and won't do anything that will detract from the positive impacts that this treatment is going to have on my life. So I'm feeling optimistic today. Had a really in-depth, deep conversation with one of the doctors who's a neurophysicist, a teacher at Columbia University, a medical doctor, a philosopher, a teacher of philosophy, a guy who debates on, I guess, the news stations apparently, or different channels, particularly over religion, which is right up my alley, so we had a long talk about that. Interesting day. I'm tired, but maybe I'll challenge myself to do something this evening that I don't usually do. Maybe I'll study some French or something. And that's day number 5 or 6 in the book, so I don't remember what it is, but I'll catch you in the next update. I just had something happen that never has happened before. I've had migraine since I was maybe 13, and I have it with aura. So I have it starts as a blind spot and then slowly expands into a semicircle of like jig-jaggy shimmering light and colors, and it slowly expands to my peripheral vision and disappears, and then I get a migraine, usually on my right side. I got that aura, that blind spot, and I usually notice when I'm reading something, all of a sudden like a letter will disappear. I'm like, oh shit, a migraine's coming. And then the aura started expanding and then just disappeared. I've never had that happen. I've had migraines since I was 13. That's 16 years of migraines I've had, and I used to have them like all the time when I was younger. As an adult, I have them, more rarely, maybe once every couple months, but or maybe a few months. But I've never had an aura start and then just disappear. I don't know what that means. Could be an anomaly. I have no clue. But something worth noting. It was peculiar, and so I thought I might as well just document it.
If only it could fix my sleep.
So far things are going well. My anxiety is down, although it does fluctuate quite a bit. Sometimes it's back to its normal level, but day number 8 or 9 today. And it's snowing a little bit outside. I don't know if you can see it. It's cloudy and snowing, and it's just nice to have some snow so it's not just stark and depressing. That's all. It's going smoothly, and hope to see continual improvements as we go forward. It's a cold day in New York City, Manhattan. Today's the first day that depression has eased up a little bit, huh? That's nice. I was able to do things I don't easily do. Take my meds immediately, take the trash out, make breakfast, go out and get some coffee. Those might seem like small things, but to me they're huge hurdles. And so yeah, I expect that to fluctuate just like anxiety has fluctuated, but dials are moving, so all good.
The fatigue, however, is intense. I cannot get enough sleep, I'm assuming, because my brain is in overdrive. Is this even the correct orientation? It might not be. I'm sorry if it's not. Okay, good night.
Here's my bedroom, right? This is what I love. Just do this. Who can bother me now? the closest anybody can get is like 30 feet. I'm in heaven.
Depression is back full force today. It's gonna fluctuate just like anxiety. Anxiety is kind of settled down to a lower level. Oh my god. Day number 11? 12? I don't know. Something like that. By day 20, everything should be pretty stably good, and then it'll just improve from there. But, you know, depression's fluctuating just like anxiety was, but now anxiety is more stable at a lower state. So I'm sorry we're not doing like this typical, like I set it up here, and like I go like this, and I pretend I'm like typing on my keyboard. No, I'm not doing the vlogger style shit. I'm not very good at that. I'm sorry. You're not meant to live in cities, dude. We're meant to live in the wild, be fucking each other, hunting animals, gathering berries. At night, we just eat and joke, and then we fuck again. That's how you're supposed to live. This concrete jungle shit, straight lines everywhere. No, that's not how we're supposed to live. Agriculture is where we went wrong, because as soon as agriculture came around, we could grow food, and then we could store food, and then we could do other things, and then it led into industry, and then it led into this garbage. We should be, I mean, think about Hawaii. It was great until we brought a bunch of diseases over there and just took over. They were just having a great time with their own culture, banging each other, building up cool monuments and stuff. Here, it's just like fucking building after building after building. It's like there's like 15 McDonald's within a block from me. Fuck, I don't want to go to McDonald's. There's the only benefit to being in a place like this is like if you want anything, it's nearby. Other than that, it's shit. They throw a tree here or there just to make you feel like you're somehow connected to nature on some level, but there's not nature within like 25 miles from here. I mean, there's Central Park. It hardly counts. The grass is blocked off during the winter. It's a fucking shithole. I don't know how you guys live here. God damn, I saw kids walking the crosswalk with the teacher leading them. I'm like, all they know is Fortnite and straight lines. You know, no wonder. I can't say that on camera. I'll get canceled. But I was like, holy, these kids are like joking and laughing. But like, all they know is like that one tree outside, that rubber playground in Fortnite, and Ohio Riz. Fuck. Day number 14 is complete, and I am horny. Very, very horny. That's new.
Daddy horny, Michael.
There was a guy just honking at a school bus, so I opened up I should have filmed it. I opened up my balcony door and I just yelled, "Shut the fuck up!" And he stopped honking. I'm becoming a natural New Yorker. Okay, I'm experiencing what is a TMS dip. From what I've looked up, it's common to around this time frame, about 2 weeks in, on my 16th today, for depression to get worse, and I think it is definitely worse, and it's pretty bad. So, but reassuring that it seems like it's a normal thing. But the depression is pretty severe, so hopefully it lightens up soon. It kind of feels like I've gone backwards a little bit, but I'm just going to trust that it's part of the process and that I'll come out better on the other side, just like a lot of people on Reddit say anecdotally. So wish me luck here. I'm trying to hang on. Okay, I feel slightly better. Actually, feel significantly better. That was really intense there for a couple hours. I don't know what that was. Anyway, goodbye. Good night. Can't sing, I have no idea what the fuck they're saying. Terrible. I'm fat and I'm only becoming fatter. Today I saw my brother-in-law and we went to the Museum of Natural History, and it was really good seeing him. I do feel like I'm in a slump. Let's put it that way. I'm in a slump, but I'm not trying to project that slump outwards as best as I can with the support of talking to family. I'm in a slump, but it was great seeing him. It was great seeing him, but I'm getting fat, bro. I've put on at least 10 pounds since I've got here. At least. Jesus. Give me some of that, whatever that fat list, LP, whatever. Give me some of that shit.
I don't want to do it anymore. It being life, I'm fucking done. I went to a museum with my brother-in-law, and it was great to see him, but I felt like nothing's changed. Everything looked visually fucked up. I felt fucked up. Nothing felt right. I'm so done. I just want to call it quits. I'm so fucking done. I'm so fucking done, dude. My balcony looks like a goddamn diving board right now. Except for I dive 1 foot into the top of some construction scaffolding, so it wouldn't do much, but maybe at least I'd be knocked out for a couple seconds. And I have some relief. Fuck my life.
Okay, I might be overreacting. I have mild food poisoning. I made a steak last night. I smelled it, and I knew it smelled a bit off. And I have a rule that when something goes, a red flag pops up, don't ignore it. In any situation. And I just ignored it, and I assumed I just haven't smelled red meat in a while. Raw red meat. My insides, just like there's razor blades in there. Oh, and I got chills and shit. I can hardly move. It's been like 24 hours. No vomiting or diarrhea or anything, so it's probably just mild food poisoning, but god damn. Ow. Got a fever of 101.6, so wish me luck, fellas. No wonder I wanted to kill myself earlier today. Fuck me, dude. I smelled that steak and I knew something. I had a red flag. My rules when the subconscious gives you a red flag, you have to pay attention. My subconscious said, it doesn't smell right. And I was like, nah, I just haven't smelled raw meat in a while. And now I'm paying the price. Fuck me. No wonder I wanted to dive off. Oh. Okay. Hey, look, I made a little progress. Oh, God, my stomach. 0.1 degree lower. Alright. Kill me. Turns out it's probably appendicitis. Never catch a break. My gut, ironically, was right. It is appendicitis. I made the right move by going to the hospital. I'm inpatient tonight, and then tomorrow I'll have surgery, and hopefully if everything goes well, I'll be discharged. At the latest, I'll be discharged day after tomorrow. So, small pause in the TMS treatments while I get this stupid appendage torn out of my body. So now I'm going to put the number down, but today is day number 21. I had a surprise emergency appendectomy, so I had appendicitis. It's kind of another traumatic experience because none of the nurses were paying attention to me very well, and like I'd be ringing the bell. My bed was out in the hallway, and I didn't have a room, and so the lights were on, and nurses were loud. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't allowed to eat, and so but they kept pushing my surgery off because it wasn't an emergency, so I didn't eat for 40 hours. And like I was ringing the bell for pain meds, and I talked to 2 doctors and 3 nurses to get pain meds, and I waited an hour. No one checked on me, even though I said I was at a 10 out of 10 level pain. And I was like sweating down to my hips, dude. I was in so much pain. But then some people, I'm not gonna say who really exactly, but they pulled some strings to get me into the OR, and so got that out of me. You can see I have, some bruising that's easing up, but my appendix is gone.
Oh God, I just got chocolate on my bed. This apartment's a wreck. I don't give a shit. As far as progress goes on day 21, anxiety is significantly lower. I'd say it's gone from a 9 to like a 3.5 or 4. Depression has not seemed to budge much, if at all, but I know just by reading studies that there's a large cohort that respond late into treatment and even after treatment as neuroplasticity continues. Visual symptoms remain pretty stagnant, and I don't really have high hopes for them, but I don't really care. If anxiety remains low and if I can get depression down, that'll be enough for me to help reintegrate into life more functionally. Yeah, that appendicitis thing was crazy. I felt like I caught on to it quick. At first I thought I was food poisoning, but I'm like, I'm not throwing up, I'm not having diarrhea, I don't have a sore throat, so I'm not sick, and it's not food poisoning, but I have a fever, I have abdominal pain, and it started moving towards the bottom right, and I was like, oh, I have appendicitis, and so I immediately took an Uber to the hospital. And then, but because I wasn't in emergency surgery, they kept putting me off, and but because I was potentially going to have surgery, I couldn't eat, so I didn't eat for 40 hours, couldn't drink anything besides anything through an IV, and they were not very good about my pain management, and that was really annoying. But my brother flew into town 8 hours just to make sure everything went through, and hung out with me for the couple of days after to make sure, just to take care of me and to hang out. And there are a lot of people that played a very significant role in getting me under the knife before my appendix burst, because they were basically waiting for my appendix to rupture so that I was in emergency surgery and then I would go into surgery. That was basically their plan by the sounds of it. But some people played a really key role in getting me the help that I needed. And so day 21, almost done. I'm going to wrap up my second session here. I'm ready to be done and move on. I'm tired. I don't want to be in this tiny apartment in New York anymore, but anyway, that's a summary for day 21. I'll probably catch you at the end of my TMS treatments unless I have anything crazy like appendicitis or, some other weird sort of thing pop up. That was a pleasant surprise, but it lasted 40 hours, and then I got out of there and immediately started doing TMS again because I'm like, I'm not wasting any time here. So yeah, that's the update. Still kind of tender. I used up all my Oxycontin one day because who wouldn't? And now I gotta go back. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Wow, a not shit spot of New York. This looks way better. I did it. Day number 31. I'm really tired, but human tired. So I'm not going to sound like as elated as I should be. But walking out of the clinic, I felt like putting my fist up in the air. I felt like the Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness when he got his job. I've become a human again. My vision hasn't changed, but I've become a human again, and I'm just gonna read my review that I left because I think it really encapsulates everything. I'm just really too tired to try to convey how positive of an experience this has been, so I'm just gonna read this to you, okay? I had autoimmune encephalitis from September 2021 to October 2024. I came to neurotherapeutics to primarily resolve or help the following issues: visual perceptual abnormalities, depression, anxiety, cognitive dysfunction. I'm having expedited treatment, 3 sessions a day for 31 days as I visit from Idaho. I'm just a few days away, I wrote this a few days ago, from the end of treatment, so I'll come back around a month or so after to follow up and just say how things are going. I came expecting to tick things off my to-fix list. Vision fixed, depression gone, anxiety demolished. But through this experience, I've come to learn the results are much more profound than ticking off a checklist. As my mother said, sometimes we don't know what we need. So what did I see improve?
Yes, anxiety improved substantially from a 9 to a 3. Yes, depression improved meaningfully from a 9 to a 5. I think more to a 4 now. And I expect further improvement. That's what I wrote. Yes, cognition improved in ways I can't really put a number to. But more than that, I experienced deep, profound changes to the core of who I am. I'm still a struggling human. Encephalitis left me in tatters. But neurotherapeutics has brought my humanity back. It has grounded me in a world that felt gravityless, giving me the ability to think of my future instead of ruminating in my daily torment. They fixed a problem I didn't even know I had: auditory processing issues. When talking with someone, the cognitive load was so heavy, as shown as in my fMRI, where my prefrontal cortex was picking up the slack of my auditory cortex, that I couldn't stand listening to someone speak. It was so exhausting that I felt bored of them, and what ensued was guilt. How could I be bored of my brother, my mother, whom I love, my friend? Now I am entranced by every word. That's who I was before encephalitis, especially with my mother. I could listen to her talk about anything. It's very true. I could. She'd talk about carpets. She'd talk about whatever. I'd listen to her talk about anything. And when I felt loveless and bored talking to her, sorry, Mom, it hurt deep, because that's not who I am. But I got that back. And I'm not religious, but can I say, what a blessing. I feel lighter. I can dance to music. I can enjoy the sunshine. I can see a future. Not one without struggles, but one that's possible to have. Someone told me, my mom, I just didn't want to say my mom again, "You're going to be okay, Adam." And for the first time since I got encephalitis, I responded, "I think I'm starting to believe that." What about my visual issues? After all, that's what I came here for. Well, unchanged for now. But I will hold off on that final verdict as my brain settles in the weeks/months post-treatment. But it says something that I'm willing to leave a 5-star review when my primary concern is not seeing improvement. In quotes again, sometimes we don't know what we need. I am reborn. I still struggle, but I'm not drowning. And that's enough to carve out a future for myself. And who could ask for more? I talk about how expensive it is, and I say you will have fluctuations during treatment. You will have highs and lows and feelings of anxiety and depression will fluctuate, often in very frustrating ways. One may lag the other. As I type this, my anxiety has stabilized at a very manageable level. Depression is lagging in improvement and still fluctuating, but each period of relief is getting longer and longer, and it's actually kind of settled into a reasonable spot now. The painful gaps are shortening, and I know it'll settle like anxiety, and I feel like it is settling. And I haven't given up on my visual perceptual problems, not yet. This neuroplasticity continues beyond treatment, and visual processing circuits are much more complicated than emotional circuits. It has been an overwhelming positive experience. All the people were amazing. I feel, even though in a kind of distorted world, I feel human again, and I'm ready to go home and put all my healing to work and get that momentum to drive me forward. I have even downloaded an app to structure my days so I don't fall into the trap of not doing anything. And you can see on my face I'm just completely exhausted. I didn't sleep well last night, and I'm just really tired. So it may not come across that I'm really enthusiastic and excited about what's happened, but I am. I can't express the profound, deep changes that have happened to me in ways that are adequate, but it's fair to say that I am a totally different person now than I was when I went in. So the decision to pursue this treatment that I first heard about half a year ago as I wanted to find treatment for my visual issues, I forgot what I was saying, but it was well worth it. And everybody was amazing, and I'm going to miss them. But that's all I have to say. It's been great. Everyone's been great. The experience has been a wild ride, very unpleasant, emotional, uncomfortable, happy, sad, anxious, anxiety-free. It's been all over the place, but it's stabilized, and I'm excited to see what that looks like when I go home. So I'm just going to wrap this up with that because I don't think I need to say more. And I wanted to wait till the end, so it's been kind of a long break. This is the 31st session, the very end here. And I think maybe last time I spoke with you was, I don't know, maybe 16th session or something, maybe 20th session, I don't know. But it's been many sessions since I spoke to you, and things have improved significantly. I just didn't want to document every up and down because it was like a yo-yo. But now it's stabilized quite a bit. And my reward circuits are on in ways that like keep me, almost like make me not want to go to bed sometimes because I'm just excited to do things, and I haven't felt that in a very long time. So I would say this has been a kind of exhausting journey. Being in New York, where you're looking through everything like you're looking through a fishbowl, is a little bit overstimulating, and it's hard to go out and do stuff like when things look distorted. But it's been very good, and I'm very pleased with the results, and the results are different than I thought they would be. I feel different. I seek light. I feel less cynical. I feel hopeful. And when I talked to the doctor about my visual issues, she said, let's wait a couple weeks. We're going to follow up in a few weeks, and then we'll see the results of your follow-up fMRI, and then we can perhaps, do further treatment for that down the road. So maybe I'll come back, but it won't be anytime soon because I got to get my life going. So with that wraps up my fMRI guided TMS treatment. I do not recommend this to anybody with like moderate depression because it is ridiculously expensive, and I had to go through unconventional routes in order to finance this. It's for people who have tried everything or are just so helpless that they are desperate enough to fork up the cash to get this done, and so it's not for everybody. I'm lucky that I was able to do this, and I'm grateful for that, and I am grateful for the outcomes. And when I walked out of my final session, saying goodbye, giving hugs to everybody, I just wanted to put my fist in the air, man. I just felt like I just conquered something amazing, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm excited to see how this carries over to when I get home. And for everybody who's been around for all the health stuff and cared, and back when my GoFundMe was up, who donated to GoFundMe, thank you. You guys it's weird to me that people would care. So, weird, but I'm grateful. I don't want to dismiss it as just weird. It's people who care, so you guys care, and I really appreciate that. And if you watched to the end of this video, like, God bless you. That's all I have to say. This is Adam on his final day. I fly out tomorrow to head home, and I can't wait. I'm going to take the first day kind of easy, but then I'm going to get back to work and rebuild my life again, because I feel like I'm now in a position to rebuild my life where before I was not. And we'll see if at some point we can get my twin brother to get this done as well. Can't wait to see my puppy Penny. Can't wait to get back to work on the YouTube stuff. And with that said, I love each and every one of you in a special and unique way. This is Adam. Peacing out. I'm sorry I'm filming again in my apartment. I was going to film outside, but I forgot. So like every video has been in my apartment. But all right. That's it. That's the end of the journey. Thanks for following along, and hope this didn't feel anticlimactic, because it really is profound what's happened to me. It can't be understated. I wish I could nap, but I can't. It's too late, so I'm going to stay up and eat the rest of the ice cream I have in the freezer. Okay. I love you. Goodbye. Oh, I also want to say I'm not going to watch the whole thing right now and like edit it, so I'm just going to upload it. So whatever it looks like. I don't know if I made any mistakes or anything, so take it as it is, because I'm just going to upload it and I'll watch it later tonight and hit myself in the head because I made some mistakes or something in the edit. But yeah, so just enjoy it for what it is, I guess.